Hello, boys and girls. As we all know, it's coming close to Christmas time. And what better way to get into the holiday spirit than to read a Christmas story with a nice warm fire? This one's one of my personal favorites. It's called A Catcher's Christmas. So, go grab yourself a nice hot cup of cocoa, extra marshmallows, and join me by the fire as we read together. A Catcher's Christmas by J.D. Dickens. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house... No, I'm just kidding. Why don't you come read for yourself? 'Twas once a day Holden Caulfield left school, but a third time again he flunked all his classes and hopped on a train. To New York he set off for, and he did it alone, until he arrived at Mr. Antolini's home. As night approached quickly, it became 11 o'clock. Holden lay sleeping until he heard knock, knock, knock. Antolini had answered, and became immediately aware. With a shrug of his shoulders, he said, no one's there. What Holden had saw was nowhere the same. It was his old roommate, Stradlater, and he looked to be in pain. His complexion was blue, and his leg had been weighed by an old typewriter attached to a chain. He moaned, "Holden, beware! You will be visited by 3 more ghosts on this early Christmas." He replied, "What a phony! Go, leave me alone. I was trying to sleep," in a quite annoyed tone. His mate stormed out fast, slammed the door in a fuss. Mr. Antolini looked scared, said, "Was there someone with us?" Holden ignored him, and fell easily asleep, remembering his prior days as he began to dream. He was playing baseball with Allie, his late, younger brother. But when he threw the ball back, it went through his stomach. Holden gasped loud, but it jumped to a cry as Allie grabbed his hand and they took off in the sky. Holden yelled, "Put me down on the ground!" But they were going too fast, traveling through time and space until reaching the past. When they stopped, Allie pointed, and what they did see was Holden leaving Wooton School, which was his first of 3. He was whisked away again, and didn't stop until they saw another school Holden left, called Elkton Hill. And last but not least, he was taken away to his last school, Pensy Prep, which he left. Again. I don't understand. I want to go home. But he wasn't put down until Allie let go. When he smacked the ground, he woke up in bed at Pensy Prep School and wiped the sweat off his head. He threw on his red hat and coat and headed outside, called for a taxi, and told him to drive. He knew the driver. He had drove him before, at least he thought he did, back in New York. Before he could blink, they began to drive, and before he knew it, it seemed, the car began to fly. They flew to Antolini's house, and through a window they saw Holden asleep on the couch in an elegant sprawl. What Holden saw next sent shivers up his spine. His hair was being played with Antolini's fingers entwined. "I don't understand, driver. What am I seeing?" He replied, "I am the ghost of the present, and this is happening presently." They took off again and stopped. Holden Caulfield's home, the driver addressed. Through the window they both could tell his father and mother looked stressed. "They both just found out," he said, "that at Pensy you got expelled." Holden's face looked worried, which wasn't difficult to tell. They drove off again and came to a stop. Holden said, I don't understand. This all means jack squat." "This is your stop, son. Quit your whine and shout." The doors unlocked and opened, and Holden flew out. He awoke in a bed, but it wasn't his. He was next to his older brother, who was rambling business. "Where am I? What is this? I don't understand. I had a terrible dream." His brother took his hand. His brother pulled him up. They flew through the ceiling. "Oh God, not again," Holden sighed. "Boy, I hate this feeling." They flew to a classroom outside a window at Pensy. Holden saw his old classmate, said, "What is this you're showing me?" His brother pointed a finger, his hand stiff and cold. They could hear the kids' voices. They were speaking of Holden. He said, "What a flunk! He wasn't good at anything. It really isn't a wonder he got kicked out of Pensy." Holden's eyes filled with tears as they flew away to a hospital building that was flushed out with gray. Big letters read, "Psychiatric Ward." "Why are we here?" Holden said. They flew through the ceiling and put him down in the same bed. He was shocked. He screamed, "I cannot believe it! Is this where I'll end up on this Christmas Eve? This has caused me such pain. Why all of this torture?" His brother said, "If you don't change, this will be your future." Holden started to shout a strong, hearty yell. He woke up in Antolini's house at the sound of the midnight bell. He rushed out in a hurry, took a train back to school, went to his old teacher's house, and he knocked on the door. Mr. Spencer let him in, and they sat on the couch, talked about Holden's problems and how he could get out. Mr. Spencer said, "Maybe if you had done all the work we gave you, you could have passed all of your classes instead of coming to me with these issues." Holden said, "If all I have to do is to phony through this shit, just give me all the work, and I swear to you, I'll do it." So for the rest of winter break, starting after Christmas, Holden did his work and was taken off the expelled list. Now, wasn't that a wonderful story? Join me next week as we read A Santa-Eyed Jew by Rabbi Goldstein. Thank you so much for joining in, and Merry Christmas.
Have a holly jolly Christmas, it's the best time of the year. Now I don't know if there'll be snow, but have a cup of cheer. Have a holly jolly Christmas, and when you walk down the street,